Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, I'm going to be debunking 6 myths about wine. During my long career as a wine lover, I've come across a few commonly held beliefs about wine that I think are completely incorrect. Myth number 1, older wine is better wine. Now, this is completely not true for several reasons. First of all, how well a wine ages really depends on how that wine is stored. If this wine has been stored on top of a fridge for years, the chances are that it's aged well are pretty damn slim. Also, the style of wine really dictates how well it ages. For example, really light-bodied crisp white wines are crap at aging, and if you open them 5 or more years after their release date, they've probably acquired a brown colour and are not that fresh, zingy wine that you wish they would be. However, the stalwart Bordeaux wines of France, which are designed for really long aging, have created in the minds of many people that wines need to be aged to get better. Even a difference of a couple of years can make a huge difference. I've had a wine in Sardinia, and the 2010 vintage was way worse than the younger and fresher 2013. It also really depends on your palate. Do you want a wine that's really softened out, lost some of its fruit character and some of its alcohol? Or do you want something really big, juicy and jammy? Wine myth number 2, expensive wine is better wine. Okay, fair enough. You're not going to find your best quality wine at 20 rand a bottle. But that doesn't mean that if you pay 20,000 rand for a bottle of wine, it's going to be 20,000 times better wine. In my personal experience, the difference in quality between the 50 rand bottle of wine and the 100 rand bottle of wine is immensely bigger than the 100 or 200 rand bottle of wine and then the 1,000 rand bottle of wine. I find the 100 rand to 200 rand bottle of wine the kind of sweet spot between value for money and also getting something that's really good. But again, like I said in my last video, what is one man's Chateau Margaux is another man's nasty and cheap Four Cousins. It really depends on your palate. If you love chugging down that Cape's finest box wine, then go for it. Wine myth number 3, South African wine is inferior. Okay, so in South Africa, we've got a little bit of low self-esteem when it comes to our wine industry. We think that wine from France, Italy, even Argentina is far superior. I think there's a lot of factors that goes into this. But also, a few decades ago, we really were pumping out mass-produced cheap wine. And much of this wine actually went into making brandy and even into making perfume. But that was long ago. However, in the last couple of years, things have really changed. For example, brandy producer Van Reyns, based in Stellenbosch, has won Best Brandy in the world for several years running. Newton & Johnson's Pinot Noir came 3rd place in Decanter magazine's Best Pinot Noir outside of Burgundy. In case you're wondering, Burgundy is situated in the kind of northern area of France, and it is really the spiritual homeland of Pinot Noir, and also the yardstick by which all other Pinot Noirs in the world are judged by. And then lastly, Crude Constantius Chardonnay last year won Best Chardonnay in the world. You see, South African wine really is holding its own against the rest of the world. Wine myth number 4, wine is pretentious. Okay, there are a few people out there who have given wine a bad name, and now everyone thinks, or a lot of people think, that wine is pretentious. True, maybe 50 to 100 years ago, the people who could actually afford wine were the rich snobby people. But things are completely different nowadays. We've got affordable wine, we've got the internet and social media, so that educating people about wine and talking about wine is so easy. And of course, you've got YouTube channels like this that aim at demystifying wine and encouraging people to drink more wine and have fun with it. Wine myth number 5. Wine is difficult to understand. Okay, fair enough. Wine is an ever-expanding and limitless body of knowledge that not even the most expert wine guru can know everything about. That's part of the reason why I love it. But fundamentally, wine is about enjoyment. It all stems from hedonism, actually, to get pissed. but also really take in those aromas, those flavors, those textures. As long as you're having fun drinking wine and you're really paying attention to what's in your glass, you've aced it. And wine myth number 6. Wine is expensive. Kind of covered this one in myth number 2. Better wine is more expensive. But wine really doesn't have to be expensive at all. Like I said, you can find a perfectly amazing bottle of wine for 100 Rand or less. And again, it's really down to your palate. Wine doesn't have to be expensive. True, there'll always be wines out there that fetch price tags of thousands of rands, but you don't have to buy them. There's so many good wines available at a really, really affordable price. And if you buy a case of wine, you usually get a little discount anyway. You can always find something within your budget. Even if you're on a really, really tight budget, there's always something wonderful that you can discover. And in fact, I'm going to be making a video which is about cheap and cheerful wines. Wines that I adore that cost around 30 Rand to 50 Rand. And they are pretty good because I'm very picky with my wine. Thanks for watching my video, guys. As usual, I'd love to hear from you, so leave your comments below. Hopefully you're a little bit more open-minded about how fun wine can be and how it isn't a really, really pretentious thing. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and check back next week for my next video. Bye!